Another team that I think could also get back into the ranks of the college football elite this year are the Texas Longhorns. Now, I already know what you guys are going to say. JT, here you go. Here you go. You're just like everybody else, gassing up Texas. And you already know what they do every single year. People shout on their rooftops, Texas is going to be back. And then Texas ends up disappointing. And here's the thing, right? I think that people are a little bit unfair when it comes to how they view Texas football. Okay, because year one under Steve Sarkisian, they went 5-7, and everybody clowned them. All right, even though we knew that year one probably was going to be a rough year. Now, give it when you're at the University of Texas, you should at least be able to win a bowl game no matter what. But, okay, 5-7. So what does he do in year two? They go 8-5. And then all of a sudden, last year was a disappointing season. Like, how was last year a disappointing season? The year before, they didn't even make it to a freaking bowl game. Year two, they win 8 games. That's improvement. That's growth. Texas is the equivalent to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, they always get a lot of flack because they're not able to get it done. Okay, they had a lot of shortcomings in the postseason in the past. But guess what? History doesn't dictate future outcomes. That's why they play the game, people. Last year, Alabama got lucky that Quinn Ewers got injured. Because if Quinn Ewers would have played that whole game, boy, Texas would have beaten Alabama. And I know we can't go off what this, but be honest, man. Quinn Ewers was balling out against Alabama. He had this one throw really early in the game on the right sideline. Beautiful throw. I forgot who he threw it to, but it had me going crazy. And you got people saying Quinn Ewers is overrated. Bruh, Quinn Ewers was playing in his first season. Not just that, but Texas, for the most part, had a fairly young team. So I don't really get how people keep saying last year's Texas team was overhyped. I think that last year's Texas team kind of met expectations. I mean, you're expecting a team that's starting a good amount of freshman offensive linemen and a good amount of young players on both sides of the football to be able to compete for a championship. I mean, come on. Some of you guys are a little bit unfair when it comes to how you talk about Texas football. Listen, I get it. This is a team that you kind of get tired of hearing about being good every single year and not living up to it. But if there was a year for Texas to actually live up to the hype, this is it. This is one of the most talented rosters that we've seen Texas have in a very long time. And Urban Meyer, on a podcast that he does for On3, literally came out and said that he thinks this is the most talented roster in all of college football. Now, I still think that Georgia has the most talented roster in college football. Then I'll have Ohio State behind them. And then I'll probably have Texas somewhere in the top 3, maybe top 5. You probably could switch them around with a couple of teams. But this Texas team is absolutely stacked. Did you see Quinn Ewers in the spring game? Quinn Ewers looked like a completely different quarterback. And he wasn't bad last season. I thought he was pretty solid. I think the problem with Quinn Ewers was that he was too inconsistent. He was too erratic. His accuracy at times wasn't that great. His decision making sometimes made you go, bro, why would you throw that there? Did you not see bro there? But I think Quinn Ewers is going to be in for a breakout season. And not only is he going to take a big leap, but this offensive line is going to take a big leap. I don't know if you guys know this, but their offensive line class from their 2022 recruiting cycle, according to ESPN, was the best in college football. I think their offensive line coach won Big 12 Recruiter of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. So this offensive line should be really good this year. Their wide receiver room is one of the best in the nation. You got Xavier Worthy, who probably is the second best wide receiver in college football behind Marvin Harrison. You got Isaiah Nayer, transferred from Wyoming. Some of you guys may not know of him because he hasn't suited up in an official game for the Longhorns because last year he got injured before the season started. But this year he's going to be healthy and he's going to add to the talent that they have at wide receiver. They got Georgia transfer A.D. Mitchell. You got Jordan Whittington who returns. Like, this receiving core is absolutely stacked. Now, I know they lost Bijan Robinson, and that is going to be a pretty significant loss. But I think that Jonathan Brooks, Jaden Blue, they're going to be able to get the job done now. Are they going to be able to match the production and the talent of Bijan Robinson? Probably not, but I don't think they're going to be too far of a drop-off, especially with the offensive line improving. But this defense should be really good. Now, the secondary, I think the secondary has talent. They got a mixture of some young guys in there who are going to compete for significant playing time. And they're also are going to have some veterans who are going to return. I really think that the strength of this Texas defense is on the interior of the defensive line. Okay, now, I still have questions about how good is the pass rush going to be, especially when you're playing in the pass-heavy Big 12 conference. You got to be able to get after the quarterback. And when you're able to get after the quarterback, that's going to lead to you having more success on third down. They also added former Arkansas safety Jalen Catalon. He was one of the best safeties in the whole entire nation last season, even though he didn't really play, but he was talked about being one of the best in college football. He just wasn't able to stay healthy, so he's going to come to Texas, and I think that he's going to have a pretty big impact on this defense. This was somebody who was voted as a team captain for Arkansas. He was regarded as one of the best in his position in that conference. So him going to Texas is going to be a major boost to this secondary. And plus, when you look at a Big 12 conference, I mean, how is it crazy to say that Texas is going to win it? Okay, now I know that games and the outcome of games are not determined by paper. Okay, there's still a reason why the games are played, but at the same time, right now, if you had to bet your money on who was going to win the Big 12, be honest, bruh, you probably would be putting your money on Texas, because from a talent standpoint, I don't really think there's any team in the Big 12 this year who comes remotely close to being as good from a talent standpoint as Texas. TCU lost a lot of talent from last year's team. Baylor, I don't really know how they're going to look this year. Texas Tech, I think they're on the up and up, but I don't think they're ready to compete with Texas yet. Okay, I think that if you were betting on this thing right now, your real hard-earned money that you work for, that you grind blood, sweat, and tears for, you probably would be putting your money on the Longhorns. And I think it's kind of stupid how, people try to judge how good a team's going to be based on what they do in the past. Every team is different every single year. Football is a year-to-year sport. No team is the same every single year. Some teams may still be good, but they're not going to be good the same way they were the year prior. Because college football, the transfer portal, you always got guys hitting that thing 24/7. You always got guys declaring for the draft. You got guys who end up getting injured. Like, the rosters are always so different. There's always so much roster turnover in college football that it's kind of dumb to judge a team based on history. Like, bro, why are you talking about what Texas did during the Charlie Strong era? Like, bro, that was so long ago. Why are you talking about what they did under Tom Herman? Newsflash, people, Charlie Strong and Tom Herman are not the head coach of Texas. Steve Sarkisian is. I don't know, bro. Like, do you guys think people kind of hate Texas? Be honest, bro, because, I'm a diehard college football fan. And even I kind of be like, okay, like, I get why people get upset about the Texas hype and all that. But it's like, dang, like, some of you guys just don't want to give Texas a chance. Some of you guys are just so blinded by what they've done in the past that you're kind of overlooking how talented this roster is. And it kind of messes up how you contextualize last season. If you thought that Texas was going to make it to the college football playoffs last year, your expectations were misplaced. Okay, now, if you're a Longhorns fan, you can say, man, JT, this is the University of Texas. We got so much money. We bring in good recruiting classes every single year. Like, we got a right to expect the championship every single year. And I understand that. But at the same time, when's the last time you won a championship? When's the last time you even played in like a big time bowl game? You get what I'm saying? It's like you kind of got to change your expectations a little bit. But this season, I definitely think that the hype is warranted. All right, I don't think Urban Meyer was drunk or he was high off that gas or he was off that flock when he said that Texas had one of the best rosters in college football. Like, you look at this roster, top to bottom, it's really good, especially when you look at the talent that they have at wide receiver. I expect Quinn Ewers to take a major leap this year. All right, this was somebody who was going into last season really inexperienced. The guy didn't even play his final season in high school. All right, so it's like, what were you expecting out of Texas last year? They had a fairly young team. When you have a young team, you're going to have growing pains. You're going to have some games that you lose that you kind of have no business losing. And you're also going to be in some games that nobody expects you to be in. If you were to tell me that Texas was going to take Alabama to the wire, I would have said you're tripping. Honestly, like, Texas fans, be real with me. Did you think that game with Alabama was going to be as close as what it was? And keep it 100. Don't lie. Keep it 100. I'm pretty sure most of you guys are going to say, no, we didn't. Now you play Alabama again this year, but you got to play them on the road in Tuscaloosa. And we know how hard it is to beat Alabama on the road in Tuscaloosa. They barely losing that thing. But if Texas beats Alabama, is your perception on them going to change? Be honest. If Texas goes on the road this year and they beat Alabama, don't act like it's not going to open your eyes. Be honest. Now, you can say, man, it's Texas, bro. Even if they beat Alabama, eventually they're going to crash back down. Okay, I still think you're a little bit of a hater, but okay, I can understand that. But boy, if they beat Alabama, everybody's going to be talking about it. And don't act like you ain't going to be close to hopping on that hype train. But Texas this year, man, they definitely have all of the pieces to live up to the high expectations that people have in place for them. Will Texas win the Big 12? I'm pretty sure they will. I don't really think there's a team in this conference that even comes close to Texas from a talent standpoint. Now, while we're on Texas, let's talk about another team in the state of Texas, Texas A&M.